going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right? So much success that you have more than one place to be.
5-3, touchdown, Oregon.
Off a dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row.
Oregon is headed to the Super Regional. Big Ten champions, your Oregon Ducks.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Welcome inside the Country Financial Studio on a Tuesday. Ryan Milano here on Duck Insider. Quick programming note before we start today's show. Women's basketball, the tip time for Thursday has been moved up to 2 o'clock Pacific in the battle between Oregon against Penn State, which means no Duck Insider on Thursday. Chris Clayton will be on the air with a 1:30 Pacific pregame show as the women of Oregon go and face off against Penn State in that one. Here on Duck Insider today, we have a packed show. We'll hear from Kelly Graves. We also have the athletic director in studio, Rob Mullens. Rob, thanks for joining us here on a Tuesday. First off, just how are you? How was your holiday? Everything that goes along with it.
It was great. It's great to be back, and it happened so fast. Obviously we were busy with basketball and Rose Bowl, and now we're back, and you got acro and beach and baseball, softball, indoor track. So doing great.
It's not really a time to relax, I'm sure, for someone in your shoes.
No, there's a lot going on. It was fun yesterday. Women's lacrosse was having their photo shoot across the way. So there's a ton of energy, classes starting, and the winter/spring season underway.
A lot of things changing, sports turning over, but I want to start with a staff change and bringing back an old friend. Lisa Peterson returning as Deputy Athletic Director, Chief Operating Officer, just welcoming her back and bringing back an old friend.
Yeah, no, obviously, Lisa has over a couple decades experience at Power 4 institutions and Power 4 conferences, and she was here for over 10 years, and obviously, Eric got an opportunity of a lifetime to go be the AD at his alma mater, Villanova. So we took the opportunity, like we often do when there's turnover, to reassess. And obviously, it's a different time in college athletics. There's a lot of change. And so we're doing a little bit of a reorg, but we feel very fortunate that we were able to recruit Lisa back into the fold, obviously with her experience, her connection to Oregon. Her fingerprints are all over what we've been able to build here. So I'm excited to welcome her back.
That's something I'm really interested in is you look around so many programs around here. You talk about lacrosse. Coach Drummond played here. I'm close with the baseball team. Almost the entire staff played here. Men's basketball. Coach Altman has a laundry list of assistant coaches that have been with him for 7+ years. What do you think is it about this place that draws people to come back to it?
Well, obviously it's a phenomenal community, right? It's a great place to live. And then what we've been able to build here with the values and the culture that we've been able to create, it does, often overused phrase, but it does feel like family, and people become fully invested here. So, beyond the on-field success that people measure us by, there is a set of values, a culture, operating procedures that really are attractive to people, particularly if you're driven and competitive. And so we've been very fortunate to be able to retain staff for a long time. Eric could have been an athletic director years ago. But we were fortunately able to hang on to him until the exact perfect opportunity came for him that he couldn't say no to. And then as we thank him, congratulate him, and we're able to bring back somebody who can hit the ground running.
I do want to talk about that, and congratulations to Eric Rodell. He was here for 13 years. working here and finding that opportunity at Villanova is so key for him. Just what did he provide at his time here, and what will Eric Rodell mean to what this institution is now continue to move forward? What's the legacy he's leaving?
Yeah, I know obviously 13 years in a deputy AD role. He was involved in a lot of key strategic decisions. And then obviously with his background in finance, he set us up for success on the financial side. But when you think about how much has changed here in Oregon athletics in 13 years, and Eric was involved in setting the strategy and building the culture and in executing the plan, just about on every single one of those key decisions. So, he was a key member of our team here for a long time. Like I said, feel very fortunate that we were able to have Eric here for 13 years. But really excited for him and his family to be able to go back to Villanova, his alma mater, and provide them the leadership. I mean, he'll do great things there.
Big-time opportunity. Excited for Eric. Congratulations to Eric. We'll have him on the show next Athletic Director Tuesday, wrapping up for him. Speaking of opportunity, I want to talk about the Rose Bowl for Oregon, because didn't go the way that Oregon wanted, but the Rose Bowl itself, just the 9th ever time that this university has been involved in it, that's so big.
It is, and obviously an undefeated regular season, a number 1 ranking for, a large portion of it. First year in the Big Ten to win a Big Ten championship and a great game in Indianapolis. And set us up for the opportunity to play in the Rose Bowl as a CFP quarterfinal. And those Rose Bowl experiences are unique, especially when you get the weather that we had. Now, it wasn't a bowl experience because it was a shortened period and your focus is on the game. But the opportunity to connect with so many fans, donors, alumni, and then to be in that setting with that 2 o'clock kick at the Rose Bowl is pretty spectacular. Sure, the outcome wasn't what we wanted, but it was a unique opportunity.
I'm glad you brought up the atmosphere of it. It was my first time at the Rose Bowl itself. I'd been there for a regular season game, but of course not for the actual Rose Bowl. That's just a special place to be at. Do you have memories of that place?
Yeah, no, obviously that's my 4th opportunity. And it's just, it's an iconic venue. The whole trip in, the setting, you got, half the stadium, one school's colors, the other half the other. The flyover, the pageantry, whether it's parade, the pregame pageantry. It is a very special, unique experience. And, again, we would have liked to have had a different outcome, but it is a unique opportunity.
Even though the outcome, obviously, it's great to continue to move on, compete for a national championship, but does that take away from what this team did? They were 13-0. It was one of the best regular seasons in
No, obviously
history.
It stings in the moment, and everybody wants to, everybody would love to be in the semifinal this Friday, but it really was a remarkable year. What our students and fans created at Autzen Stadium was special. We had record crowds, and just a lot of great memories. And I think that's kind of why it hurts. Everybody wanted it to continue because this was a special group and a special team. Campbell Trophy finalist, Heisman Trophy finalist. So a lot to celebrate after you get a little separation from the end of it. But in the end, 13-1, conference championship, undefeated regular season is really a remarkable season.
Well, in conference championship, that doesn't happen every year. Oregon has been a talented program. We haven't gotten one since 2020.
Yeah, no, it's a high bar, particularly as a new member of a very successful conference. I mean, heck, this league has 2 of the 4 teams left, and when you look at the 12-team playoff, we played 3 of the teams that were in there. So, it's a remarkable accomplishment.
I do want to talk about the atmosphere inside Autzen Stadium this year. We've talked about this being an opportunity because so many opposing fans from the Big Ten are going to make Autzen a destination. How do you feel like the opposing fans at Autzen Stadium made it that destination, just the atmosphere inside of Autzen this year?
Well, the Big Ten teams travel. I mean, we saw that. And, we provide 3,000 tickets to our opponent at Autzen. And I think all or just about every one of those took their 3,000, and as we saw, some ended up having more than 3,000 here. And our fans responded. You know, we were able to sell out a number of games starting early in the year, Idaho, Boise State, and that home field advantage plays a huge key. And we heard from our new Big Ten peers, you know, they didn't think 60,000 people could make that much noise. You know, they have played in stadiums that are bigger, significantly bigger than 60,000, but they quickly came to recognize the impact of those 60,000 in the home field advantage. So I think our fans were spectacular, showed well, and made an impact on the season.
And can continue to make an impact with 2025 tickets. That's big to get fans back in the stadium. I like to say that with every passing moment, we're now closer to the 2025 year. So don't waste any time. Get your tickets, get back in Autzen.
No doubt. I mean, obviously, we saw the demand. I think everybody became very familiar with the secondary market. You know, the season ticket value is as good as it's ever been here. You know, again, like I said, with the demand from the students, the demand from the visiting team, season tickets are definitely the way to go. We're in that renewal process right now. That is the lifeblood of an athletic program as we go into this new era of NIL. You know, that's going to be extremely important to us.
I do want to transition from what was a strong football season to a strong volleyball season. Haven't had the chance to talk to you after Coach Ulmer's squad went on their run throughout the tournament. Just overall for volleyball, how they finished their season.
Yeah, to be able to be a top 16 seed and host those first two rounds, you know, obviously we were 16 and played the 17, what was TCU, which set up to be a big match. And, you know, it was just a phenomenal performance by Coach Ulmer and the team on that. And then again, you know, this has kind of been the story of our volleyball postseason. We end up playing one of the top teams on their home court, and whether it's Louisville or whether it's Pitt, you know, we're right there. And the difference in the last few years, you know, on our departures, just that we've been on the road, and that home, as we were talking, that home court advantage has played a difference. And, you know, we're going to keep battling. We're going to get one of those regional rounds here at Matthew Knight Arena and give us the advantage.
You talk about battling. Every time I watch Oregon postseason volleyball, it feels like I've got to take some blood pressure medication because the set's not guaranteed to end at 25, and with Oregon postseason volleyball, I'm not sure it ever does.
Well, you know, that's just kind of the beauty of postseason when, you know, every point just has that incredible, you know, energy, pressure, however you want to quantify it. With it, and that's what it felt like in that match. It was so back and forth, and, you know, we were toe-to-toe with the team that had been number one all season long on their home court, you know, and a point here or there, and it goes a different way. So really proud of what that team accomplished. And you just keep stacking.
A really strong environment inside Matthew Knight Arena for volleyball season. Going to be and is a strong environment in Matthew Knight Arena for basketball season. I want to talk to you about basketball season, if you can stick around for another segment. Rob Mullens, athletic director, with us. We're talking basketball as we make the transition into this winter term when we return on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back in the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano with Rob Mullens, Oregon Athletic Director here. We talked about the conclusion of the fall term. Now, the introduction of the winter term, and basketball plays in both because it feels like it's been basketball season for a few months now, but now we get to really focus in on Big Ten basketball in both the men's and the women's side. And first off, these are two really, really talented conferences. The amount of talent that's going to be inside Matthew Knight Arena is going to be top tier night in and night out.
We've already seen it, just with last week, we had Illinois here who has a freshman international player that's, many project to be a lottery pick. And yeah, it's outstanding basketball both on the women's side and the men's side. And again, I was just reading yesterday on the attendance when we're going on the road and playing in front of really huge hostile crowds in both men's and women's basketball. So we want to fill Matthew Knight Arena and give our teams that opportunity when they're playing at home because, this is a deep, talented league in every sport, including men's and women's basketball, and we've seen that.
It's a similar opportunity that we talked about with Autzen Stadium in terms of a destination in Matthew Knight Arena. So why should fans from all over come and experience what Matthew Knight Arena is?
Well, it's high-level basketball, so, if you're a basketball purist, and it's great entertainment. We have an outstanding arena with wonderful sight lines, great coaches, outstanding young people on both teams. And both teams are off to a great start. Our men have snuck into the top 10. Our women have been inside the top 25. So, again, that's the beauty of college athletics. The home court advantage can carry your team. And these wins now are going to add up when the selection committees are reviewing resumes come March. And so, every one counts.
Got the first conference home win for men's basketball on Sunday against Maryland. I got to ask you, does it mean a little bit more to you the first Big Ten win was against Maryland?
Well, and I worked at Maryland for a few years.
Of course.
So, it was nice. Obviously, Illinois came in and, had the game of their life with their shooting percentage. The way they were making threes, they were just going in from everywhere. And for our team to be able to bounce back against a really quality Maryland team, I'm sure you guys have talked about it. I think Illinois, Oregon, and Maryland were somewhere between 10 and 12 in the net, so very evenly matched in a very high energy game. So it was a phenomenal atmosphere, great game, and it was fun to see Nate and Jackson, two Oregon kids, play so well and help us get that win.
And we've talked about the parity in the conference, and I'm going to go a little bit into the weeds in this stat. There's only been 6 teams that have played 7 quad 1 games that qualify in the net. Only 3 have won at least 5 of them. Us, Marquette, and Auburn. That's
good company.
And we got 2 more coming up with the road trip that's coming up for men's basketball in the next few days. This is a gauntlet of a conference. There is a ton of talent.
There is a ton of talent. And as I mentioned, these are tough road games. You're going to go into hostile environments, many venues averaging 10,000, some up to 16,000. So again, you got to get those wins at home and then take your game on the road and steal a few.
It's similar to going and experiencing. I know that going on the road for football, getting to see so many different football venues, it's the exact same for basketball, and this is a historic conference with so much rich basketball history.
It is. There's rich basketball history, obviously a style of play, a lot of proven success, and we've absolutely proven, whether it's cross country, volleyball, football, men's basketball, women's basketball, that we can compete at the top of this league. And we want to give our student athletes every chance to win conference championships and set themselves up for a good NCAA seed to have success.
I want to transition to women's basketball because the women also having a really strong start to their season and some experienced players as well. It's not every year that you get 2,000-point scorers. We have two of them with Deja Kelly, Peyton Scott. The last time that happened was Sabrina Ionescu and Ruthie Hebert set the 2,000 mark in 2019. It's special to get this level of player with this level of experience on teams at the same time.
Yes, I mean, obviously that's a huge milestone. You can break it down to how many points you have scored. That means you're probably playing at a young age, and you're consistent, and that's exactly what you have in both Peyton and Deja. So, yeah, I mean, and I think our women's basketball team, because there's an introduction of some transfers and a lot of new parts, you started to see in the Wisconsin game the level of play when it's all put together. And so, there's a bright future ahead.
That was a tremendous defensive effort against Wisconsin, wasn't it?
It was fantastic. Just dominant from the tip.
It really was. And it feels like the trajectory of this women's basketball program is trending back in the right direction, where Coach Kelly Graves, he continues to move this program forward on the women's basketball side.
Yeah, no doubt. And, obviously, when we going back to the teams that you were referencing with Ruthie, Satu, and Sabrina, we were averaging over 10,000 fans. We got a ways to go to get there, but if we can get the energy back at Matthew Knight Arena, again, that's worth some points, and it can make a difference. And coming down the stretch here, every one of those games in the Big Ten is going to matter, and we want to get every single one at home.
Really, we've talked about a lot, and to me, it comes back to broad-based excellence,
yes.
Where you have football winning a Big Ten championship, cross country doing what they did on the women's side of things in the Big Ten. Across the entire board, you just had a baseball team that got ranked inside of the top 15 in their preseason poll. We've talked about basketball. Broad-based excellence across the board. It's continuing to be top tier at this university.
It really is, and we're getting ready to launch the acrobatics and tumbling and beach volleyball and women's lacrosse. So there's a lot of excitement ahead, but that's the goal, right? If we're going to have 20 sports, 450 student athletes, we want to put the infrastructure in place to give them a chance to compete for championships and have the time of their life here. And as we've talked about, a lot of that's built on the back of football. I mean, football generates 80% of the resources that help us fund all of this. Successful football, ticket sales, donations equates to being able to provide the infrastructure to support that goal of broad-based excellence. So, that's always number one.
You mentioned tennis, track, golf, sports that are starting up in just a few weeks. What does it take to get those sports started up, and what should we be expecting as we ramp up to those seasons?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, we have outstanding coaches, and obviously, a number of those teams that you mentioned are ranked. So, I would just encourage our fan base to engage, whether in person at one of our venues or through Big Ten Plus or through Big Ten Network. We have outstanding young people, and we want to do everything we can to support them.
Rob Mullens, Oregon Athletic Director, with us. What do we miss?
No, I think we've got a lot going here. It's happening. Classes are starting. All these sports are cranking up, so it's a great time to be a Duck.
Well, I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate you letting me sit down with you.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan.
Rob Mullens here on Duck Insider, getting a timeout. We're hearing from Coach Kelly Graves after this when we return on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Jan from Toyota here, live with some big news. Toyotathon is on. Okay, now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 6th. Participating dealers only. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Jan from Toyota here, live with some big news. Toyotathon is on. Okay, now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyotathon ends January 6th. Participating dealers only. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Graves, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Ma, is this how you feed a hamster?
I think so.
Is my homework right?
I think so.
Is, this milk still good?
I think so.
When it comes to parenting, sometimes it's okay to think you know. But when it's something as important as your child's car seat, don't just think. Know. Double check if your child is in the right seat for their age and size. It'll help protect them in a car crash. Don't just think. Know by visiting nhtsa.gov/the-right seat. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back here inside the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano with you. My thanks to Rob Mullens, Oregon Athletic Director, for sitting down with us, talking about everything around the athletic department, including women's basketball. Didn't have the opportunity to get to it yesterday on Monday, but it was a big-time win for Oregon women's basketball on Saturday against Wisconsin. It was the first conference home win for Oregon women's basketball as the Ducks won 68-52. That's right, they held Wisconsin to 52 points, and it's a Wisconsin team that has some really, really talented players, including Sarah Williams, who got limited to just 3 points in the game. Coach Graves, he was really pleased with the defensive effort of his squad. We're hearing postgame from the coach, brought to you by Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. What did KG have to say?
Well, first of all, just really proud of our team. It was a great effort. I've been coaching here 11 years now. It's one of the best defensive efforts I think we've had in a long time. Sarah Williams is one of the best players in the country, and we went out to try and kind of take her out of the game, and we did. I thought the game plan was well put together by the coaches, and then the players went out and did an awesome job. I mean, she's getting 19 and 12, and she ends up with the 3 points. But I think just as important is she didn't get a single offensive rebound. So great credit to all of our players, especially our inside players. And, and I thought offensively the only thing I'd say is maybe the last quarter we just kind of took our foot off the gas a little bit, but credit Wisconsin, they kept fighting. But all in all, it was a really good effort, good game.
Mina in particular, doing it on both ends. She had 10 points in the first half and obviously was instrumental in stopping Williams. What can you say about her effort today? Yeah, it was great. And she had a tough road trip, and to see her come back the way she did, she's a competitor and a veteran, and so, she found a way and got us kind of started early, which was great. But, her effort defensively was tremendous. I mean, that's one of the best players that we'll have in here. That's a first-round draft pick at some point, and I'm not sure what year she is. I think she's got another year left, but she is really, really good, and collectively we did a nice job on her.
Peyton, how awesome is it to be able to slide other players into that, and how do you feel about that depth of this team?
Well, we lead the Big Ten in bench points, about 32 a night. So, we're capable of withstanding, an injury. Obviously, you never want one. Peyton's been our leading scorer, I think, up until, she's been our leading scorer. And it's just nice to know that you have somebody like Nani Falatea that can go in. And I thought Katie Fiso came in and played well. I've always been a believer that, in the short-term, injuries don't really hurt you. In the long term, they do, because you're without a really good player. But I think it's just human nature in the short term for people to step up and just do a little bit more and feel like they're the ones that can help. And I think they did today.
Do you have an update on Peyton?
I don't. Yeah, I don't. It's a knee issue, but we'll wait and see. I think the training staff, everybody's confident that at some point she'll be back, but I don't think it's anything long term.
About the defense, but offensively, it must be nice to see kind of all three layers of the offensive scheme, in the paint, the mid-range, and the three really working tonight against, a really good team in Wisconsin.
Really good team, yeah. We shot the three well. We haven't shot it at that percentage in a while. That was nice to see. We hit our free throws. We had good inside-outside balance in the two-point game as well. So, yeah, just a pretty good, solid effort. That's 2 in a row now we've put together. We played similarly up at Northwestern.
Katie a little bit. It felt like early on, watching her from at least my vantage point, it felt like sometimes she was still getting accustomed to the play, but it feels like now she's really starting to feel like she's understanding everything. What did you see from her tonight? Because early on, it felt like she was just firing. Yeah,
Katie's coming on. I think she's earned the extra time she's getting, and she's doing it in practice. And, yeah, I think we're just starting to see what she's capable of doing. And I think just as she gets more and more confident, she needs to put on a little weight and some strength. She can have some of mine. I've got plenty to give her. But, yeah, she did a really nice job tonight. Moment wasn't too big for her, and she looked like she really belonged.
What do you make of the way this team has, developed defensively this year? Obviously, from the start of the year, they were a team that liked to hustle, get after it defensively. But how have you seen them develop?
I think they're really starting to trust each other. People forget we have 9, 10 new players. And so we're still in kind of just starting to be the middle of the season, and so it takes some time. And I think they're just developing a nice trust together. They're starting to buy into what we're asking them to do. And seriously, Jairus, Jody, this was Jody Berry's scout. She nailed it. Jairus has kind of taken over our defense. Lisa, Trey, they've all done an awesome job, and they put together a really good game plan, and then our players went out and really executed it. And that shows a high level of thinking, high level of buy-in, and then that just reinforces. So now the next time we hey, we're going to game plan a little bit differently for this crew, it will, they have confidence that, hey, we can do this.
That just how impressive is it that you haven't seen the past 3 teams that you faced? You've never seen them kind of before. I mean, I think the last time you faced Wisconsin was like 2009.
And we won't see them until 2026.
Yeah.
So.
And so, how impressive is it that obviously you guys have a lot of new players, but in terms of you as a staff, you haven't seen a lot of these teams that you're about to face. How important is that to have that skill to go out and execute the game plan when you're facing a new opponent?
Yeah, well, it's always tough, when you go against a coach, let's say like Coach Vanderveer, who we've coached or I coached against for 25 years. You kind of know they play the same way. Yeah, this is all new, but we collectively probably watched every game that they've played this year. We end up, knowing them, and they know us about as well as you can. So, but. Yeah, I think that's what's going to make this a really fun season. We're going into new environments. I'd never been to Illinois before. I'd never played at Northwestern like we did last week. And now we got to go to Penn State and Ohio State. And we won a buzzer game at Ohio State way back when. But, I think that's kind of fun.
Is it nice not having to worry about Tara anymore?
Well, I still worry about her. I just not as a coach, not on the other sideline. But I know she's looking from a distance going, yeah, I'm kind of glad I made the decision I did. Because I know she's up at her lake house and just enjoying life.
Just wondering, Eliza, just some of her playmaking ability, does she sometimes surprise you? I mean, I swear, some of the plays she does, I'm like, how does she do that? Is she still surprising you some of these games with the plays she makes?
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does. She reminds me of Maite Cazorla. They play at a different rhythm. I don't know if it's a European thing, but it's just different. You're not used to it. You're not used to seeing the way that kind of she moves and plays, and they're both equally great defensive players. And, yeah, she does it every day in practice. She's a little Energizer bunny. I mean, she really never takes a play off, a practice off, a drill off. It's kind of who she is.
I know you've got a long way to go with this season, but have you noticed any big differences between the 3 legacy Big Ten teams you played and maybe some of the Pac-12 teams you played last year?
Well, the 3 teams from the 4 teams came in from Pac-12 were all playing pretty well, especially those 2 in SoCal. I honestly, like the point was made earlier, we're playing new people, so that's where all my focus is. I really haven't had a chance to, watch the rest. To be honest with you, we don't play Washington for another month and a half, I don't think. So, yeah, my attention's to the next opponent, and. Penn State's going to be really good. I've never been to State College in my life. I've been to a lot of places in this country, but I've never been to State College, so I'm looking forward to it.
Kelly Graves breaking down the win for Oregon women's basketball on Saturday over Wisconsin. Really, really, really strong defensive effort from Oregon in that game. 11 steals for the Ducks against the Badgers to get a big 68-52 win on Saturday. First Big Ten home conference win for the Ducks, and now Oregon goes on the road. What was originally supposed to be a men's basketball, women's basketball doubleheader starting at 3 o'clock Pacific, where the men would play Ohio State and the women would play Penn State on Thursday. They're still playing those teams. It's still the same day, but the women's tip time has been moved up an hour. Helps us out a little bit, gets to stagger a little bit more, get to watch more and listen to more of both games. I'll get Chris Clayton on the pregame show at 1:30 is when he'll start there from Penn State. As that game moves forward, Oregon men's basketball will have their pregame show starting at 2:30. Tip time at 3 o'clock against Ohio State on Thursday. Because of the change in women's basketball time, that means no Duck Insider on Thursday. We'll have a show tomorrow. We'll have a show Friday. No Thursday Duck Insider. We still got more to break down from the win for Oregon women's basketball, hearing from some players. Nani Falatea, Deja Kelly, 2 of the 4 Ducks that scored in double figures, 2 of the 6 Ducks that scored 7+ points in that game. All-around effort, strong defensive battle from Oregon. We're hearing from 2 of the stars when we return on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course. You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high. Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back here in the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union here on a Tuesday. Ryan Milano here, Joey Mack on the road. Plane left a little bit earlier as both the men and the women. Chris Clayton with him on the same plane as they go and will play Oregon men's and women's basketball against Ohio State on the men's side first, Penn State on the women's side first, and then they will flip-flop as the weekend commences. We're still breaking down the Oregon women's basketball win over the weekend, a 68-52 victory over Wisconsin, where the Ducks had an incredibly balanced scoring effort and an incredibly strong defensive effort. I mean, balance across the board. Look at some of these statistics. Nani Falatea, 10 points, 3 of 5 from the field. Amina Muhammad, 12 points, 5 of 7 from the field. Eliza Mevius, 14 points, 5 of 7 from the field. Philly Che had 8 points along with 4 rebounds. Deja Kelly, 10 points, was 5 of 12 from the field. She had 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Katie Fiso, 7 points, 2 of 4. Alexis Whitfield, 4 points, perfect from the field. This is a balanced scoring effort across the board in what was, as you heard from Coach Graves, one of the better defensive efforts he's seen. Period. That's it. It was one of the best defensive efforts, one of the best balanced scoring efforts, and 2 of the players that really contributed, 2 of the 10-point scorers, Nani Falatea, Deja Kelly. They spoke with the media after the game in what was a really, really strong, balanced Oregon effort. Let's hear from the players.
Deja, defensively, it seems like this team is finding a really good rhythm, and Kelly pointed to that as one of the better performances he's seen from his teams defensively. What can you say just about the group flying around the way that they did in this game?
Yeah, I think defense is a big part of our identity as a team, and so we really take pride on that. And our Coach Jairus has done a really good job of implementing just different ways that we can guard and defend, where we can be really aggressive, we can be physical, and I think just everyone being in the right spots too, I think just really helps our intensity on that side, and I think we just had great energy today.
Nani, how easy was it to step into this team? It's your only second start of the year, but you looked like you belonged.
Oh man, I think just for me, it doesn't matter if you're starting, doesn't matter if you're coming off the bench, your role's the same, and if minutes they go up and down, you can't bank on that, but it's nothing, especially with the chemistry that we've built so far in the season. It doesn't change anything.
Can you talk a little bit about Amina? Obviously, she's not here to talk for herself, but just her performance tonight, especially on the defensive side, to take care of Sarah Williams and the performance she had, not only in the defense but the offense as well, getting you guys kind of going in the early part.
Yeah, I think we're much better when Amina starts out aggressive on both sides of the ball. I think just her presence, especially defensively, she can be really active. She's really mobile, so I think that helps us at that spot. And then, of course, offensively, when she's in her groove right around the rim, we try to find her as much as possible. But, yeah, we need her to continue to play well and continue to stack days. So I thought today was a really good start of that.
Back-to-back Big Ten wins, against Northwestern and now Wisconsin. You guys started off with, some early challenges in Illinois and USC. You feel like you guys are starting to gain a little bit more confidence now, in this early going of the Big Ten competition?
Yeah, for sure. I think everyone knows how hard this league is, and so every single win matters. So as many as we can stack, but also just, taking it one game at a time. I think that's the biggest thing, especially knowing that it's going to be a battle, a dogfight every single night. So just trying to take it one game at a time, really lock in, be disciplined in that game, and again, just stack as many wins as we can, especially at home.
Just looking at the the job that the bigs did on Sarah Williams, Nani, I guess you could speak to this just from your guys' vantage point. What did the forwards do well to shut her down? Obviously, she's a talented player.
Yeah. They did a great job. I think they really locked into our game plan and what we wanted to do, and they executed it really well. And a lot of it is just communication. Everything they did, they were talking and just being aggressive. That's one thing we talked about pregame is, like, if you're going to go, you got to go 100%. I think they did all game.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with obviously guards dropping down and helping in that situation and communication. I mean, just the level of communication, where do you see that?
It's on the up and up, I think. I think that was one thing that we've talked about for a long time is communication is going to be everything for us down the stretch. And I think the more that we do it, like today, we showed like what we're capable of when we're communicating all 40 minutes. So, yeah.
Deja, can you speak a little bit about Katie Fiso? Because obviously this season's been one heck of a journey for her. Obviously, freshman, she lost her father, and it just feels like these last couple of games she's really coming to her own on the court. Just what have you seen from her in practice this season over the last couple of games, and what's it just been like having her as a team and seeing just everything that she's going through so far?
Yeah, Katie was one of the players I was most excited to play with this year, just because she's such a dog. She's such a competitor. No matter what is going on, she's always going to bring that intensity, that energy every single day to practice, every game, whatever her role may be that day. I think just seeing that consistency from her is something that is so rare in a freshman. And I think, the game is coming to her. She's letting it come to her a little more and, just trying to make the right reads and continuing to push pace for us and just being an energizer bunny on the floor. And I think it's just so fun to play with her because she brings all of that. She's talking. She's a leader on the floor already. And I think Kelly had told us a couple of days ago, but yeah, she's going to be one of the best point guards in this league in the next couple of years to come. So I think just seeing her growth in live time, I'm so excited to see, what she continues to do for us because she's a big spark for us off the bench.
Coach also described Elisa as an energizer bunny.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys have two energizer bunny. What's that like as a leader trying to, sometimes maintain two people that have so much energy on the court and maybe slow them down?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes their energy can be a lot, but I think, it's sometimes you just have to, with what is it, with great risk or big risk comes good reward, whatever the saying is, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, something like that. No, not that with the big, whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyways, with them, I think just and like I said, their energy, it's a different dynamic for the team when they're on the floor. We feed off of it, especially on the defensive end. Elisa is so aggressive defensively. She wants to get out and run. She wants to get seals. She wants to get stops. So we kind of feed off of that too. And then, her and Katie, like I said, I think just that energy that they bring, that's something that is very unique and definitely helps the team go.
Just going off of that, Kelly also said that you guys are leading the league in bench points. As two leaders on this team, just how nice is it to know that if you guys are maybe having an off night, that you can rely on your bench or whoever to step up and be able to stack those wins?
Yeah. Go ahead. You do it. You got it. You're good.
Yeah, I think just being able to be that deep on the bench and just have that much production just speaks volumes about, the type of players that we have. Like Nani was saying earlier, it doesn't matter, if you start, if you come off the bench, like everyone brings their own piece and every single piece is just as important, 1 through 15. So I think just especially when everyone locks in and is disciplined in their role and just focuses on bringing whatever it is that the team needs, that's when we're really, really good. And there's been multiple games where our bench outscores our starters. That's just that, but it's fun to play that way because when whoever's coming in, there's no drop off, and we can continue to keep our foot on the gas. So I think that's a great thing for us to have, and we've been saying it from the beginning that our depth was going to be a plus.
Nani, there was a moment during the game where Elisa had like a backwards spinning pass to you where you drove into the lane and was able to flick it in. Did you expect the pass to come that way? Did you expect it to come to you at all? Or just,
no.
Well, what did you think at that moment, I guess?
No, I was a little surprised by the pass, but I'm glad she made it. She's always doing stuff like that, so that's on me. I got to be a little quicker, ready for her to make those crazy passes, but yeah, I love playing her when she does stuff like that because, it's going to be a highlight reel. So you got to make something happen when she hits you with that, so.
It's that 3-on-3 game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That comes out a lot when we're playing. Yeah.
Gotta be ready for anything when Elisa Mevius is on the floor. She's looking for you, even if you're not looking for her. Nani Falatea wasn't and then was. Good thing we'll be looking for Nani Falatea on the show tomorrow. That's a little teaser for you. She'll be on the show tomorrow. We'll have some men's basketball, women's basketball content previewing their matchups on Thursday against Penn State for the women. 2 o'clock Pacific time tip-off, 1:30 pregame show on the Oregon Sports Network, and the men against Ohio State. 3 o'clock tip-off, 2:30 pregame show for the men. We're going to get another quick timeout, and when we come back, Coach Altman, Keyshawn Barthélemy, they both talked to the media previewing this upcoming weekend for Oregon men's basketball. We'll chat with them when we return on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back here on Duck Insider in the Country Financial Studio, Ryan Milano with you on a Tuesday in the middle of the week before the men and the women will both face off on the road against really talented Big Ten opponents in Ohio State and Penn State. Men play Ohio State first, women play Penn State first. They will flip-flop throughout the weekend and then play the other team on the back end. Really talented across the board. These will be quad one wins. I think maybe all of them will be quad one wins for the men and the women on the road in Big Ten conference play. It doesn't get easy throughout conference, and this is a tough road trip, one that the first year of the Big Ten, Oregon hasn't done before. Oregon's going to have to weather that storm as well as the rest of conference play in order to stay towards the top of the table like they are on both the men's and the women's side. On the men's side, still ranked inside of the top 25. Oregon now the second highest ranked team in the top 25 in the Big Ten, according to the latest AP poll dropped earlier in the week. Coach Altman, he talked with the media yesterday previewing this road trip for Oregon men's basketball. Let's hear from Coach Dana Altman.
You started watching anything on Ohio State?
Yeah, no, we're they kind of like us. They've had some ups and downs, but when they're up, beat Kentucky, and they've played some really good basketball. Their point guard Thornton's really good. He just kind of runs the show. When he's playing really well, they're really tough. Very talented point guards. So, no, we're going to have to get on the boards with them. Kind of the same things we've been talking about. Can't give them easy baskets. Really got to get on the boards. Got to match their physicality.
Seems to be pretty effective. Three as well. When you got the period coming up, I realized several days after, but two of the better three-point shooting teams in the league. How do you feel the three-point defense is coming?
This hasn't been good. We haven't been pushing out on shooters. And, I think the thing we just haven't recognized, like Illinois, who's on a roll, scouting reports. I don't think we've been as sharp as we need to be. And those are things you can control. Recognizing who's on a roll and, recognizing whose numbers coming into the game are good. There's been some guys that have hit a few that scouting report wise we haven't anticipated, but that's been very few and far between. And, we've got to do a better job on those guys we know can shoot it.
You said yesterday that this will be your first time coaching at Ohio State, first time coaching at Penn State. You still enjoy checking things off your list?
Oh, I don't know. We've played Ohio State before when I was at Creighton, but we haven't been there. So, but no, it's new for our staff, and so those are always things that are just different. You're at some places at Creighton 16 years. You go to Indiana State 16 times, Evansville 16 times. It's good for a change every now and then. So no, I think it'll be exciting for our players. I think they're looking forward to it. And like I said, our staff, we just know there's a lot of new places we're going to be going and looking forward to the challenge.
Do you look into anything of somewhere you never played before, of just figuring out things, or
Well, Scott's done a great job of, coordinating with all the other operations guys on where to stay and, logistics of everything. So that'll all go smooth. Scott and Josh, to a certain extent, they're working on that, making sure everything will go smoothly for the players. So, those things are different. Usually we know what hotel we're staying at, and everything's kind of the same. So this be a little different, but not too much. Just like going on a road trip for a non-conference game where you're going there for the first time.
So it's a tough weekend for TJ. Any thoughts about changing lineups around?
Oh, I don't know. No, we'll look at everything. TJ, Brandon, they had a tough week. And but we need those two guys to play. They're two of our experienced guys. But they both, struggled this week. So we got to find a way to maybe take the pressure off of them. I just think they're, trying to guide shots in and, a little bit wanting it too much. So we got to find a way to free them up a little bit.
Coach Dana Altman breaking down the weekend, brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Better cancer care close to home. 3 of the 4 games for the basketball teams this weekend will be Quad 1 games. Penn State on the women's side fell out of the top 75 in the net last week, so they are sitting in the 80s at 87th in the net. Still a Quad 2 game and a high-level Quad 2 game that could work its way into being a Quad 1 game if Penn State works their way up in the net as the season moves forward. Still, regardless, great opportunities for Oregon on both the men's and the women's side to go after Penn State and Ohio State, really top-tier opponents. I feel like I'm going to say that every week. Top-tier opponent. Every team is a Quad 1 game. You might have teams that are sub-500 in league make the NCAA tournament. The Big Ten is a really talented and daunting basketball conference, and it's going to take a lot to navigate through it unscathed. It'll be impossible to navigate through the Big Ten Conference unscathed. It's how you're going to bounce back, just like we saw the men's team do after the loss to Illinois, getting a really quality win over Maryland over the weekend. Those are going to be the type of weekends that we are seeing in Big Ten Conference play throughout the course of the season. It's just that difficult of a league. Big thanks to Rob Mullens on the show today, Coach KG, along with Nani Falateo, Deja Kelly, Coach Dana Altman. That's what we have for you on today's show. On tomorrow's show, whole lot more basketball preview. Didn't get to Keyshawn Bartholomew today. We'll do our best to get to it tomorrow. We'll break down everything you need to know for the Hoops road trip tomorrow. See you, everybody. Go Ducks.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
Heather and I had an argument just like any other couple. I was lost. I had snapped. I had a gun and I was going to take my own life. Heather helped me realize that there was still a life to live for the better of myself, my family. My weapon is now safely put away.
A moment of crisis can happen to anyone. Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by